level. You can do it at the agent level. You could pick groups of agents to do it. I mean, you have complete control over how you replicate, when you replicate. Once you start that process, you just got to give it some time and be patient. It is not instantaneous. So if you click replicate and then you go to V4 and start looking around, you're not going to see the data right away. So give it some time. If you are having issues, again, let our support team know. We're all here grinding away, trying to get this thing, perfect for everybody. So just want to throw that out as a reminder to everybody. So moving into V4, I'm going to go through a quick slide deck with you guys, provide some updates. I'm going to kind of go through the full slide deck, and then I'm going to hop into a live demo and kind of showcase some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So we're just going to get into the first, the good stuff first and talk about the patch management stuff. This has been one of the kind of the last mile things. So patch management has been released into the V4 instance. It's going to show up under your assets section where you'll see patch management. Again, you'll have to be at your company level to see this. That patch management screen will present you with the end user license agreement. Now, there has been a small change to this. The under the hood of this is no longer the Chocolatey engine. So if you're using the V3 product and you're using patch management, we had previously used the Chocolatey technology to actually run the patches using a private repository. Now ConnectSecure has developed our own patch engine and our own repository that we will maintain and control. So we're no longer leveraging the Chocolatey tool, but rather our own, ConnectSecure patching engine. So shout out to Shiva and his team for creating that. Any of the technical details about the patching engines, we will be sure to document and share, on our documentation as that stuff is released and kind of polished off. But this, this new patching is, again, using that new patching engine. So once you agree to the, patching policy here, just like the other tool, it'll turn on the patching in the system where you can then configure it and actually use the patching. So a couple screenshots of, at the company level, when you're inside the patch management section, you'll have it broken down into kind of two sections. You'll have your application patching side. This screen is going to give you that multi-line view of what needs to be patched in the environment. So, what have we identified that our tool can patch? It will display it in that screen. You'll get the software version, the fix to that software, a hyperlink to it, affected operating systems, and then your, of course, count of assets. You'll have a 3-dot action menu that you're used to kind of seeing in the current product. You'll have a patching option. You tap that patching button. It's going to take you into your, hey, you can patch this endpoint, or you might have 5 or 10 or 100 there, and you can pick the ones you want, and you can patch those. As far as what we're covering, I see a couple of questions that I'll try to pseudo answer. We're patching basically everything that you're used to patching today. We will be releasing a new documentation that contains the full listing for you guys. But again, the parity is there. Anything that's being patched today is going to be patched with a new tool. In addition to what we already, have done in the past in the lens of third-party patches, we will also be introducing operating system patches. So not just the third-party stuff, but also OS patching, if that's something that you want to take advantage of. So that will be coming. It'll all be documented. So back to the patch screen, again, broken up. Patch jobs is the other screen you'll see. Again, you guys have this in the current system where we'll give you the job info with some details about if things are successful or not. You'll be able to drill down to this and get some additional data. We have added the patch scheduler section to the scheduler option. So again, if you're at your global menu and you go up to your assets and then tap scheduler, you will then see your, you will see your patch scheduler option. you'll tap add and you'll get your window where you'll build the patch schedule. So if you're not using it or you were using it, it's the same concept. Turning on the patching does not just say start patching everything. You have to build out your patch policies. You know, you have to tell the system what to patch, who to patch, when to patch. Otherwise, nothing happens. So very similar to the last, how to schedule those patch jobs. Again, global is where you add a patch schedule from. So you have to be in the global menu. Coming out of the patching, moving over to compliance standards, we have released the Ubuntu operating systems now for CIS controls. So that list is now growing beyond Windows, Mac, some of the Linux versions that you'll see like Debian and some of the Red Hat versions. And now we're bringing the Ubuntu versions to compliance. So you can really get deeper compliance scans rather than just the plain old Windows devices that I think everyone expects to see and get these days. So you'll see some new global and company level views for those commands. We have also added some new layouts. So, you know, currently there's a handful or 4 or 5 layouts that you could switch to. We've introduced some additional layout ones that I think a lot of the partners are going to be very happy to see. Again, in the lens of bringing things over to the left, we've got some new ones like the dense layout, where again, it brings all these icons out to your left. You'll have some of your actions on the right. If you're, you know, maybe don't want to see anything, you know, on the right, we can eventually ship this out. But we've also got what we call the classic layout, which kind of gives you that panel on the left that maybe you're used to looking at with, you know, the formerly Cyber CNS or the V3 Connect Secure product. And I know a lot of the MSPs and partners that we work with, a lot of our tools look like this anyway, right? All the tools that we log into, whether it's an RMM tool or a AV tool or a vulnerability tool, a lot of things are always on the left. So, you know, brought that stuff back to you guys. If you're used to seeing it, you can kind of bring everything. So you can toggle through these different layouts if you want to take a look or see how you like your screen laid out. There's a bunch of options here. Global integrations menu. Under the RMM section, we've added NinjaOne as one of the new RMM integrations. So we've got docs being published on this as well. Again, everything will be documented. Credentials, API keys, very straightforward. Company mappings, right? Once you authenticate to your Ninja, you map your companies between what's in Connect Secure and what is in NinjaOne. Sometimes we use different names or we have short names or we have some uniqueness, but this is what tells the systems who is who. And then as far as the functionality goes, there's an agent deployment from within the NinjaOne console, which you're seeing here, where you can take the assets that you have out there and actually deploy our agents through their console. If you didn't want to get into the Connect Secure UI, you can do it right through your NinjaOne UI. Moving over to reporting, we have added a few new Excel-based reports based on some demands we were getting. So some vulnerability reports that will dump out all vulnerabilities into an Excel version where it'll give you all the raw data, and then it'll give you some additional tabs that will break that data up by company, by severity, some other options there. Same with network scans and vulnerabilities, right? So same concept, application versus network vulnerabilities. And then we've also done compliance report changes. So in the compliance sections, there's the Excel reports are now all available for compliance. And I'm going to go through some of these with you guys here once we get out of the slide deck. On-prem partners. So on-premise has been one of the last partners to be able to move to V4 or start to experience the beta or the early release, which looking back is probably a good thing. But for the on-prem partners, this is coming here in the next few days. you're not going to see it today, but you will see it here over the next couple of days. And what you will see is in your on-prem version, you will then have the replication options that we've been talking about and showcasing with all the other partners here that are using the SaaS version or the cloud version. You will also, on-prem partners, get down to the company level and again have the ability to start replication of any of your agents, probes, or lightweights over to your V4 instance. So we're just a few days away out, and we will then have all of our on-prem partners who want to start to replicate, start to get their feet, hands into the new product. We're coming around the corner for you guys. Appreciate the patience on that. Sure, as all IT professionals know that are on this call, managing multiple infrastructures like an on-premise and a SaaS version, there are going to be delays. There's going to be some, parity issues at times. So I think we saw some of that, but again, appreciate everyone's patience who is on-premise and had to wait. But you'll be getting a very stable product, so that'll be the good news. And then just a quick recap on kind of looking ahead, as we head into next week. We'll provide more updates to you guys. And we want to talk about the ticket count. We saw a tremendous volume increase in January and really in December as well, at the company across all departments like we've not really seen before. But as we look into next week, the team will be back to single-digit ticket counts, basically for all of our teams. That would include engineering and QA and our support teams that kind of man the front lines in the first initial request. So the team, again, shout out to the dev team. I know that they've been working some, very vigorous hours to really try to get the stuff buttoned up, and a lot of lessons learned, a lot of time spent, but I think we're seeing the fruits of some of that now with a really stable platform. The enhancements have been really, really great. I've gotten a lot of feedback. I talk to partners every week, a dozen or more on sessions where, we're listening to you guys and we're getting the feedback, and I see a lot of really good things happening. So, it makes me excited because, I'm part of the team. I'm in the grind with you guys. I'm feeling the partners' pain with the support team. When you guys have problems, we all have problems, and we are here. We do care. So it's exciting for me to see some of this stuff come together. So just wanted to share with you guys, what we're doing as we look ahead. So since single digits coming, which I think will be better for everybody from a support perspective, but also as we look upstream to continue to enhance this product for, what it is, and making it better. There'll be more time for that, right? We're also right there going to be reaching feature parity with V3, right? Where everything you've done in V3 will now be available in V4 as we head into next week, right? With the patch management, we've got a couple small report section things that need to be polished off. But we are coming right around the corner here. So feature parity is right in the lens for next week for us. We're also going to be introducing a new V4 asset split view. I've got a screenshot here as a reference. So in the V4 product, we're going to bring the asset view. Will have the ability to have this more traditional view that you're used to seeing, where you've got your list of assets down the left, and then you've got the agent or asset details in the screens here based on which asset you're on. So we'll be bringing this to V4. So you'll have the split view. You'll be able to look at it like this, or in the current asset view that V4 has. So that will be coming as well. And then configure your landing page settings. So for those of you that have asked about, landing page and customizing logins and being able to make setting changes there, coming down the pipe for that as well. So that should be coming down in the next week. Of course, things change, but this is what is in the goals for us. And I'd say so far the team's been doing an incredible job. So this is looking ahead. Join us next week on the partner call. We'll keep providing you guys updates and rowing the boat and steering together and making sure that we're communicating with you guys and questions are being answered. So that's looking ahead. So again, thanks to everybody that takes the times, been pushing us to make the product better, been patient with us, giving us good feedback, bad feedback, and some in between. Everything is heard and appreciated. So, thanks for everyone's time and contribution to the product. I do want to turn over to the chat. I'm going to try to cover what I can. I know I've got some of my colleagues here that have probably already been in the chat. I will turn to that at some point. I'm going to do a quick screen share as promised with you guys real quick, just to kind of, again, showcase what we covered in the demo. This is live. Yeah. So the folks that are asking, if you're in your V4 instances, the patching is live. So you should be seeing this. And again, if you're not, it should be showing up very shortly. So again, as you get logged in, this is the main login page we're going to hit. You're going to go up to your assets section, and you're going to come down and you're going to have patch management sitting here. So again, you'll find this in your assets. You come to patch management. Now I am on a specific company right now at 21st, but of course you can switch between your companies to go global, or you can go down and pick a certain customer off. So again, you'll see your application patching. I can see I got 89 things here that I can patch. Change your rows as always. Over to the right, your patching options. Again, you tap your patching option, you pick off what assets, you get save, it'll run its job. You got your patch jobs. And it'll give you the details about what's going on. See, we got 2,414 patch jobs in here from all the testing that's been taking place. Sort your columns if you need to. You can tap on the dates. You'll get some additional info about the patch job, the status of it, what's going on, if it's ran or not. So you'll get some detail there. You go up to your global asset scheduler. Again, here, you'll see you got your scan, you got your patch scheduler. You'll add to give it its name. I'll just put testing in here. Pick off the companies that you want. You can either say everybody gets this, or you can go down to the list and you could pick off a certain select few companies. And the more you pick off, your number will tell you. So I've got 6 selected. As I continue to grab more, now I've got 9. It'll tell you what you've got. Same as always with tagging, we're able to include or exclude machines from this patch policy based on the tags, which can be incredibly useful. You've got your allow and deny for the applications, and then of course the list of applications. At the top, as always, we've got the all selection. So if you want to be very aggressive and say, if Connexicare can patch it, I'm going to patch it, that's the option for you. If you want to select off from the list, you scroll through the list, you go through, you pick off the titles or the software that you want to patch, and you add it to the policy. Last, you'd pick your schedule. How often can we run patches? Is it every day? And if it is, what time can we run those patches? Or you can do hourly, weekly, maybe you just want to do it every week. And I'm going to patch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Again, you can accommodate any schedule you need there. You could also consider building out your patch policy ahead of time, kind of staging it here. You can always uncheck this or untoggle that active and save your record. That way, once you get your policies all built, you could then review those, get them approved, and then get them turned on. But you could definitely build them ahead of time. Okay, so that's going to be your patch scheduler. We talked about the UI changes. So again, when you're in screen here, up in the top right, wherever you see your little spinning cog wheel, you go to that settings menu. You'll see down here, you'll have the new options kind of highlight in bold there. The first time you come in, you'll see those. You can tap on that change, and it's going to basically take that bar. So I'm down here on scheduler. It's going to take that bar that was up top and just basically drop it on my left now. Now, if you want this bar also on the right or left, you can also, switch it to your left side as well. So if you said, hey, I just want everything over here, you can kind of condense everything to your left if you need to. I thought this was pretty nice. I know a lot of partners are probably going to like it. Unfortunately, I wrote all documentation with the default view, which is on the right. And so I've confused myself when I've tried to put things back. So I'm going to try to stick to the default view here. But that is up in the settings menu for you guys to change. We talked about the reports, compliance. So under compliance standards, under CIS compliance, which will default, you've got your platforms now. So you can come in here and you'll see the listing now of Windows, Azure servers, but now you've got all the Ubuntu stuff. So if you tap one of the Ubuntus, we've got a few assets in our environment that we've set up for these scans. So again, you'll see here, you can get your compliance checks and standards done for not only Windows, but Ubuntu's. You got the Red Hat, Linux, CentOS, and then your Mac choices. The standard reports, these are still being built out for you guys. I know I saw some chatter. In fact, I have another environment where I could showcase these, but you guys should be seeing your standard reports if you go in. If you go to standard reports, you should see, I know there's a few of them that have not yet made its way in, but you should see quite a few that have made it over there, including the new ones that I mentioned today on the call. Those should be in. Again, if you're not seeing them, let us know. The other item that I wanted to show that I don't know that we went through last was we added under Active Directory, we added an AD audit section. So in addition to the normal panels data that you get in the report, we've also put in this kind of audit section, again, just to bring out some of the high level data from Active Directory in an audit to show you, hey, these are some of the things that we really care about and what the kind of data we're finding for those. So events, users, enabled, disabled, and then below, you'll get the actual audit, of all the details that include the users, the computers, the organizational units, any of the security groups, and you'll get that data below. So that's AD audit added under the Active Directory section. You guys will see that. And so that's going to be our updates for the week, guys. I'm going to switch my attention over to the chat. Looks like we got some chatter going there, and we'll see what we can get attacked here. So I'm going to kind of start at the top, guys. So bear with me if you just asked the question. You're probably going to be a second here. I'm going to start from the top. When will last week's recording be posted? We've got that posted. Peter already shared the links on the question to Scott. So we had to break that video up into two parts. There's part one and a part two. So we had to break it up because we had some issues uploading it to YouTube. And so we had to break that up. So it is in two parts, but it is out there. Sherry also sent our link to the YouTube channel in the chat. So youtube.com/@ConnexSecure. That'll take you to that channel. Gary, what is the patch engine based on? Gary, I'm not sure. Maybe give us a little more detail, or one of the engineers that are here may be able to answer that. But I know that it was created by Shiva and his team. So the engine is built by ConnexSecure, built by Shiva. I believe they own the code. It is based on the brilliance of Shiva and his team. Looks like someone did confirm that. So yeah, sorry guys, I'm late to some of the party here. Which third-party applications are being supported? Again, everything that's supported today will be supported, but we will be expanding upon that list. So again, expect to see documentation very soon here. I will be writing and publishing that by the end of the week about the patching, how to configure it. All this stuff you saw today will be published in the docs. Requirements for third-party applications to work. Andy Rowe, great question. And there's a great answer, which is even better. So in the current tool, if you were using the agent for patching, there were some scenarios when we had to have whitelisting done, specifically to the Chocolatey server in URLs, right? Because the agents were calling to Chocolaty's URLs to get some of the patch data. With the new version, since we are not using Chocolatey and we are using our own Connect Secure agent to do this, we should have everything we need on the machine from the agent. The lightweight agent is required. The lightweight agent will be responsible for the patching. So there really should be no additional requirements for patching. If you have a lightweight agent installed and reporting properly, meaning the ports are open and we're not, having any issues with the lightweight agent, then the patching should also work in that same lens. So good news there. Andy, you made me think of something that I didn't share that I want to share with everyone as well, is in the patch management, we will be releasing it is released right now, and it is supported on the lightweight agent only. We are going to be enhancing it so that the probe will also possess the ability to patch. So you won't just have the lightweights doing it anymore. You'll have probes and lightweights with the ability to run those patches. I just wanted to clarify that. Right now, it is limited to the lightweights, but as we come down the next couple of weeks here into March, I believe we will see the probe release those. Yep. Patrick asked if it is in the portal. I see some partners saying they see it. Patrick, the button to patch is going to be located right in the assets view. So again, if you're looking at your companies, you go to patch management from the assets view. You're going to have the patch button on the right on the 3-dot action menu. Gary asking about moving the docs. Yeah, probably not something I can say yes or no to. I unfortunately write the docs and contribute to them, so I can feel your pain. I think any documentation platform sucks, to be honest, but right now I know Atlassian is what we're using. Confluence is what we may also see it called. So sorry, Gary, I don't have a solid for you there. Sean Cowell, if you're not seeing patching in the system, maybe you can send through your tenant or domain name to us and we can have the team check this out. Anything that we don't give rock solids on, we will follow up with you guys on. So our teams are monitoring the chat and we'll get you an answer, Sean. Right there. So Paul, yes, you can go to patch management from the global level screen. So yes. Wingit, no. Looks like we got an answer there. Is there any work with application whitelisting tool, for example, ThreatLocker? Is there a plan to work with them to get a built-in policy that will allow the functions on Connect Secure? So I don't have any knowledge of that, Matt, specifically when we talk about whitelisting. We, of course, we do application baselining, which is, pseudo whitelisting in the lens of I can tell you if the software that you're approving is installed, but the tool itself doesn't actually,
Hey, Ryan, he's talking about putting
the flip side. The flip side, sorry, Stephen. But to work with ThreatLocker, so ThreatLocker has a built-in, so when I deploy this to new agent or new clients or anything like that, that I don't have to go in and specify all the DLLs and everything for Connect Secure directly. That it's just there's a built-in.
Understood. I gotcha. Yes, that's a great question, and that's something that our team, need to get engaged with ThreatLocker. I assume to get published with those guys, which is probably a definitely well worthwhile exercise. So maybe Swami or Vershali, one of us can take a note to work with ThreatLocker and reach out to them and maybe get that process started if it's not already in the works. Great point.
Perfect.
So,
thanks.
Thanks for the feedback, Matt. We'll make sure to note that. Amir, tactical RMM integration, is it planned? I have not heard or seen of that one. So I can't say yes or no on that. But again, remember, if we don't have an API integration, you can still really use any RMM to craft a PowerShell, a command executable, an MSI, a web installation. There's many methods we can use with our pre-built method to accommodate your RMM installation. So if you're having trouble with that, reach out to us. We will help you guys. We've got capable hands and people on our support team that have deployed tens of thousands of agents using 15 or more RMM tools. So if it's not in the APIs and integrations, let us know. We'll help you. And if it's something we can do, of course, we will consider all integrations. I think that's what we do. So I see another question on CW Automate. It's kind of the same story there. Now, with Automate, we did publish a script that myself and a couple of our colleagues crafted for the V3 side. It can be used with V4. It's a slightly different script for V4, which we will publish. I know my colleague Doug is on this call. Doug, let's make sure we have that. We already have the V4, we'll call it the non-expiring agent installation URL that you would use in an API or a script install. So we have that for the V4 agent. You would basically, Christian, in your Automate, need to update the script to use the new URL. And then again, with V3, there were 3 variables that you would have to input during an install. Now we're down to 2. So there's a slightly modified, script you'd use for V4, but it's absolutely possible, and we will document it for partners that need to use that method. Okay. It's a White asked about PDFs being added for reports. They are not there yet, but they are coming. That's kind of one of those next week goals for feature parity, is getting the remaining report formats into the tool. So Excel, PDF, PowerPoint, and Word, where you're all used to normally seeing. Jacob Henley, what is the best practice for running a probe on a network with multiple VLANs? Previously with the V3 agent, whenever the probe agent would scan on a large network with multiple VLANs, it would flood the switches and bring down the entire network. That sounds messy. So I will share my experience and what I would call my best practice for this. I am not an engineer by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been working in the MSP space for about 20 years, so I've seen a lot of this. I would generally recommend, if you're running multiple VLANs, that you configure a probe on each VLAN. You put a probe on each VLAN and then limit that probe's IP ranges to just the VLAN, so that it's not scanning everything. Each probe should scan just its range of IPs for the single VLAN. When you do that, it's very also recommended that when you name those IP ranges in the probe settings, right, in the discovery settings, you're going to name things. By default, we call it set 1, set 2, set 3. You want to just label those as the VLANs are labeled. So when the assets start showing up, we know what VLAN they belong to, and we're also going to be able to break up the scanning traffic. So instead of me scanning 10,000 addresses all at once with one probe, I may be scanning, 4 probes are scanning 2,500 addresses apiece. And again, I'm just making up some fictitious numbers there, but that's the route that I would generally see. And again, I'm certain there are partners on this call that are much smarter than me that could maybe offer some additional advice on that, but that is generally what I have seen work the best and be the most performance aware. Jake, I hope that helps. And that's actually something we will put on a document and publish for partners. So we're working on some kind of best practice papers that will talk about some of these common things that we see partners asking about. How do we deploy? What should we deploy? What reports do I show my customer? How do we use this for a prospect? There's all these common things. So we'll make sure that we're documenting that. So maybe, Doug, let's make sure we get Jacob's question written down somewhere. Yes, Dennis, we agree. Dennis comments about looking forward to the Excels versus Word. I tend to agree. And I honestly think it's the audience and who's looking at the reports. I find that partners that are more technical, maybe engineer background, get into the weeds a little bit more, they want to see Excel. They like the raw data. They like to see everything because they can do pivots and they can clear and filter and sort and report and do all these things with it. Where if I'm presenting a report to more of maybe a salesperson, or not that salespeople aren't smart, or to an executive or somebody on C-level, they generally want to see more of the 8x5 glossy, maybe a couple graphs, a couple high-level metrics. How does it affect risk? What is it doing to the bottom line? They don't generally care about how many CVEs do we have and all the rows of data. So I agree, Dennis. I think we need to have both, which we will have. So that's the good news for you guys. Yes, Karam, we will publish the third-party software patch list for V4 ASAP. That list is published for V3 out on our pages already. So it is out there. There's about 600 applications that are supported. So I know that list is already out there. iPhone, I'm not sure who, someone says iPhone. I've noticed when switching between layouts, the white label company logo will default back to Connect Secure. Yes, we should put that in. We'll get that in with the team and follow that up. Make sure we solve that. I'm not sure if the person that gave us the comment that is labeled iPhone, if you tell us who you are, we would love to make sure we get in touch with you for that request. Christopher Gagnon, support team is amazing. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Chris. We definitely appreciate the love. Slack partner one. In Slack, you had a 131 partner call link. If there was a session is not posted, that's what he was asking about. Okay, Scott, thank you. Sounds like Vershali, who is, I believe, chatting as Shiva today. That's Vershali. We will get that uploaded. So the partner call from January 31. And that was, yeah, I remember that I did that call with you guys. That was the last call of the year. I remember saying that. Sean, yes, patching should be working now. So it looks like Doug responded. Let's get that in. Sean, we'll get you taken care of. We'll get it looked at. Jacob, when you scan with the probe, where do you see all the found devices on the network, including the ones that do not have agents? That would show up under your active assets or other assets screen. Anything that is found basically shows up under assets. Gary, executive report is missing. Yes, we, with no timestamps, agreed. We see that. Doug or Sherry or team who's with me, let's make sure we get Gary's comment about executive summary report. We definitely know that that is an important report to all partners, so we will make sure that that is getting taken care of for you guys. WatchGuard integration, WatchGuard firewall missing in V4. Yes, anything that is not there, guys, again, that parity, as we mentioned, is round in the corner. So we should see anything that's missing. We should see that stuff getting added. Sorry, I don't have dates on everything, but I would just encourage you, come to the call next week. I'll make sure we get you guys updates on that stuff. But yeah, it's a couple of the firewall integrations I know some of the partners aren't seeing yet. Patch management. So it sounds like you found it, but you had to go to global first. We still have issues. Ruben, can you send something into us again, team? Let's make sure we document. But Ruben Gerardo, we want to make sure we get you check the replication status of your V3. With that said, no one has any pressure here to move to V4. V3 is not being turned off right now, so there's no pressure. I'm just reiterating that. Anyone that hasn't heard it, I know we've been saying that. It is not being turned off, so we will get you guys on stable ground before V3 goes away. Patching has to be enabled, Miguel. Yes, good point. Yeah, you need to enable the patching status from the global settings menu in V4 to see some of your patching stuff. Yes, Rick, you can increase the items per page. Everything defaults to 5. We default everything to 5, probably because it loads things faster is my assumption. I'm taking an educated guess at that. But you can definitely change the rows per page to like 5, 10, 25, 50, whatever you want, and then save it, more importantly, on the right-hand side of the screen. There's a save. So you can save the rows per page. So next time you come back, it remembers those rows and there is a refresh. So yes. Steve, company assets, remediated record. How does a record get there? I haven't figured that out yet. So yeah, remediated records. Those are going to be things that we have identified as a problem. And then we, on the next scan, we see that it's been remediated. So that would be a patch being installed or an unsupported software being removed or one of the security checks, right? One of the problems that show up basically being resolved is what you should be seeing in your remediated records. Jacob, if you patch a software that isn't installed on the device, will the software be installed? No, we will not install software on a device. We can't apply a quote patch unless the software is found. So we're not going to install software, at least not yet. If you patch software, no, in my portal. So Gabrielle is saying in portal, she sees patch manage me at the company, but not in the global view. Let's take that down and figure out what the expectation is on patch management. Sounds like I've seen a couple of people say that they're not seeing it at global and only in company. Maybe we want to try to get that cleared up. If anyone on the team has info that can share, please interrupt me. Steve Polak still showing V4 agents off with the red light. Steve, if you haven't reported that, let's report that and let us know. We'll get it looked at in your system. I'm seeing mine in my instance look right, so we'd like to get that looked at for you, Steve. And then Steve Strom, I see, asked about firewall integrations. Yes, they will be added. So firewall integrations will have parity. Gary says, why was feature parity with V3 not complete before V4 was released? That's why we call it beta, Gary. Beta is about giving partners early access to the product. No one was forced to the V4 beta product. If you don't want to use it, then you don't need to log into it whatsoever. And you can use V3 technically. So it was released because we wanted to get the product out to the partners and get feedback from the partners because you guys are what drive our roadmap. We look to you guys to help us blaze the trail and we try to execute that for you guys. So communication will get better, but that's the short answer. Christian, if the status has failed, do we get any detailed info why it failed? Yes. So Sherry, thank you. Gave us a little detail there. There will be some detailed information on patch job failures, specifically some of the basics that you would expect. Agents offline, something was blocked, agent or maybe lightweight agents missing. There's going to be some basics there. I would always just remind everybody who's always interested in the details of why things are failing, whether it's a patch installing, a scan running, something, anything not working right. The agents write local log files to the machine. There's a log.txt in the CyberCNS folder, which you'll find in your normal program files install path, right down in the CyberCNS agent folder. We have a log file. And a lot of times, if I don't see something in the UI, I do like to get down into the weeds a little. So I'll go into that log and see if there's anything that says, hey, I might know how to fix this. And if not, you get in touch, send that to our team, and we'll get you guys help, right? Or we'll figure out how do we introduce log file data to the screens to make the error handling better, right? There's always improvement for better error handling, so we're listening for that. Steve mentioned ConnectWise Manage. Is there a way to do a test ticket creation? Don't know on that. That's a good question. Kevin Fraley, thanks for giving us some response there. Kevin, one of our partners at Ergos. I speak with Kevin and his team pretty regularly. So thank you, Kevin, for commenting. And it sounds like you're having good luck with that. Steve Strom, if you're having struggles with the ConnectWise Manage integration, again, we've got very capable hands on the support team who are ConnectWise experts along with ConnectSecure experts, so we can help you guys out. Let us know. Kristen, is there a place to see where my emails to support have been received and addressed? Looks like we got some answers on that already. Yep, we've got a portal, a ticketing portal. We use Freshdesk, and any one of you partners can sign up and log into the Freshdesk system and interact with us from a ticketing standpoint. So if you like to look at your tickets or edit or close or create them from the portal, and you don't like to do the email route, you can use the portal. I encourage people to use the portal. I think the portal's better because I don't like managing things from my email inbox. I'm not very good at it. But when I've got tickets, you know, I've got all these reminders and I've got things yelling at me. And so I just find it easier to do it there. But yes, we do have that for you guys. Patch links. Dennis says, will patch links be available in the solution/remediation plan as in V3? That is a great question, Dennis. I also +1 that. We should do that. My colleague here has documented that. She's shaking her head and says she also +1s that. So we will get that to the team, Dennis. That's a wonderful idea. Andy says he's posting questions in QA. Are you checking there? No, I have admittedly not checked there. I've been reading from the chat, Mr. Andy Rowe. If we have time, I will switch to the Q&A as well. And if we don't, Andy Rowe, we'll make sure we follow up with you. No matter what, you get an answer from us. Paul Rouse agreed. We need that in the screen. I think everyone's kind of voting for that. I see some thumbs up. That's great. Yes, Christian, patch scheduler will follow the time zone that is in the ConnectSecure portal. So make sure you guys are going to your global settings and checking your time zone. Make sure you got your time zone right. Yep, patching needs to be enabled. I think we talked about that. Brian Henry, all of our previous recordings are going to be on the YouTube channels. I see links flying around. Patrick C. on the screen, I saw multiple entries for the same patch. Are we going to be able to, yes, you should be able to multi-select using our checkboxes and then patch. More preferably though is the scheduler, right? If you set up your scheduler for patching, then you don't have to ever do any button clicking at all, but rather read the reports maybe or validate that the patches are in. But I would use the scheduler. But yes, you should be able to do it manually as well if you need to. Gary, I will check out that. I will check out the doc link that you sent over, Gary. I always like to look at other tools out there. So thank you for sharing that. I'll make sure I take a peek through that. David, is there a specific list of actions supported with NinjaOne integration, or is that pending the doc you mentioned being available? Yes, David, we will get that NinjaOne document published to our site with the screenshots, the functionality. It's going to be similar to the other tools, agent deployment, company syncing, potentially ticketing and alerting. I'm saying that because not all of them do it, but we will get that published, David, very, very soon on the NinjaOne since it's been released. Gary says, if you'd like to integrate with anything in an automated way, you can use an N8 or Roost. Absolutely, Gary. Yes, there are products out there like Roost and Trade.io and N8N and where you can create some automation using the APIs. So we have open APIs. So you definitely could tap into our product, to our data to, get pull and request between other apps. So that's definitely possible. Rick, will we be given an option to remove the old agent at a later date, or should we just leverage RMM for uninstalls when we are comfortable? Yes and yes. So we will, when a date arrives, we will be sure to communicate that date. When it comes, there is no date as of right now. I want to remind you guys, you can remove V3 agents right now from the portal if you want to, right in the UI. So you could, you know, issue an uninstall command if those machines are online. Or, you know, RMM definitely can be leveraged to issue the uninstall itself. We've got the command syntax out in our docs already for that kind of stuff. And again, there is an uninstall.bat file in the CyberCNS directory. You just got to run it. So multiple ways to get that done. Again, Rick, Tice, if you are having any problems, you let us know. We'll get you some help. Yeah, Dennis is saying much more applications in the list. Yes, absolutely. The new list is already superseding the old list. So what you're seeing in the product listing is going to be bigger there. For white label settings, yes, we will make sure on the document, David, that white label settings will have the recommended, you know, format, file extension type, JPEG, PNG, etc. And then what size should it be? Should it be 250 by 60? Should it be 170 by 90? We'll give you those recommended dimensions. That's definitely heard. Yeah, team's writing it down. They're shaking their head at me, so we're good to go. Gary, thanks. Looks like you provided an agnostic PowerShell script sample that come from GitHub. We love GitHub out here. I know a lot of our partners are leveraging GitHub for stuff. So thanks, Gary, for sharing that. Christian Muniz did the modification. Nice job. Yeah, Automate partners are out there making changes nice and simple. Matt Robes estimated on the best practice document. All right, my guess will be I can certainly tell you I will have it done before end of the month. My hope is to have it done within the next 2 weeks. My focus right now, I am participating in a lot of the documentation writing that's happening for V4. So my immediate focus has been the core of the product, right? The core of the scanning, the patching, all the things that we really need the product to do. And then I'm going to switch my attention to more of the how-to videos and white papers, best practices, kind of that stuff. So I will get to that stuff as quickly as humanly possible, but I'm just being transparent with everyone here. That's one of the things that is in my purview and a priority for me. Andy, great suggestion. My team's waving at me. They've got it written down on a report that maybe shows installed apps that are not supported. Definitely a good thing to use. Burke, is the attack surface mapper working in V4? Yes, it should be working for you, Burke. Attack surface mapper should be working. Once you run the scan on the right toolbar, you'll have the jobs. You tap the jobs, you see your results. Sometimes they're a little hidden. I had trouble finding them the first time. The other thing is there's a attack surface mapper report. So if you go to the standard reports, you should be able to run an attack surface mapper report. And Burke, if you're having trouble, get in touch with our team. We will solve that for you. Yes, Dennis, you can view the list of third-party apps in the patch scheduler where you select from the application list, where you'll see that list. Yep, Sean Cowell, enable patching. You basically go to global settings and there will be a patching status option, and you're just going to agree to the end user license agreement. Dennis has said they're creating a VM or a physical appliance probe for most of their clients, and they are using Ubuntu. So I know I've seen a lot of partners that are using Linux and Ubuntu devices to bring in a probe to the environment rather than, you know, hijacking a machine in the environment to be a probe, saying it candidly, right? Missed the first part room. When this be posted to the YouTube channel? Yep, looks like we got the YouTube channel questions answered. How do we best, so Andy, how do we deny? So Andy says, does allow and deny application type in patch management remove applications? No, we do not remove applications. Our tool does not install or remove software. That means it will deny the application a patch. So if you had patching enabled, it would say, don't patch this machine or this application. You can deny that. So a use case would be, in the patch policy, I have checked off all applications to be patched. And then in the deny section, I deny Adobe because I want all applications except Adobe to be patched. So the deny is about denying a patch, but we never install or remove software from machines. Troubleshoot patching errors, go to the log file. As I mentioned, in the CyberCNS directory on the machine, every lightweight agent has a log directory where you should be able to see some of that. And if you can't solve it, Andy, send it to the team and we'll help you get it figured out. Yep. If you want to request integrations, just send it to the support team and we will get it into the list and we will get it to the team that manages all of our vendor integrations. And that list is growing. You guys will have to be patient. But as we stabilize V4 and probably move into Q2, the team will have a lot more bandwidth to start looking at the integration capabilities, right? Yes, Dennis, we got your checkbox recommendation set. So Dennis, again, thanks for that feedback. Awesome, love to hear it. Brian, when you run a scan job, external and full scan, can you advise the location to check the status of the jobs running? Yes, looks like we sent that over to you, Brian. We got a KB out. Thank you for sending that, Surround UV. Appreciate it. David got a comment, 404. We'll get that page updated. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, yeah, Brian, if you're seeing duplicates, looks like David gave a recommendation. You can certainly run the uninstall on any. But again, if you're having problems, Brian, get in touch with us. Let us know. We will get you sorted out. We'll get you sorted out. Tyler, the first time V4 was referred to as a beta was weeks after release, and some of us did have agents automatically migrated. Yes. Well, there's maybe some communication issues with the word beta. I know that I've been hearing the word beta since last year, November, even into October. So depending on who heard it, I want to also just be very clear. We didn't migrate anything, right? When we say migrated, I would think, I'm thinking we're taking something from V3 and we moved it to V4, but we actually replicated data. So it was not really a, hey, we're moving your stuff around. It was more of a replication. Either way, yeah, we did at first release, we did an automatic replication of partners' data so that their V4 tenant could be created. And when they go to log into it, they had some level of data to be looking at that was familiar to them. That was kind of the idea. So, but that has been since stopped. Everything is now controlled by the partners in the portal directly on migration. So I want to get to that. I know I'm coming up. I know we're a couple of minutes here past time. I think we're almost to the bottom of this list. I seen a few more comments. My team is shaking their head that we've captured most of the questions that were not answered. Again, some of the features that you're not seeing, I see partners asking about, we will be releasing those as we come into the next week. So I would just encourage everybody here to join us next week. Continue to join us if you can so we can keep giving you guys updates. We will upload this meeting again to the channels ASAP as soon as the processing's done. And any partners that reached out to us, we will make sure that we get you guys responses on everything back. So again, appreciate everyone's time joining the call. Thanks for staying over a little bit. And everyone that's engaging us in the chats, thank you for your patience, for your comments, for your enhancement requests, everything. It's all being heard and we're listening. So, thanks again to everybody.